Hello everyone, it's me Uncle John. Today I'm going to read S66043 Art and the Comet Crisis, Chapter 6. In the Oval Office, the president was sitting behind his presidential desk. How wish it he could have put the desk in a corner. He liked corners, but there weren't any in the Oval Office, so he had to make do. The desk was covered with a lot of presidential stuff, but President Baxter wasn't paying much attention to it. A general stood before him. Mr. President, the latest figures predict that the comet will hit the Earth in only 1 hour. President swaveled in his chair to look out the window. All of our differences. Have they been? We tried. Mr. President, believe me, our greatest scientists, led by the brain, made this their top priority. Yeah, the brain thinks he knows so much. There is a reason for that, sir. Oh, really? What is it? It's because he really does know so much. President Baxter walked to the window. Did it help? All this knowledge he supposedly has? No, sir. I'm afraid not. Under his direction, we sent up everything we had. None of it worked. The comet is just too big, too powerful. Then we have only one chance. General came to attention. Yes, sir. Bionic Bunny is standing by, waiting for your order. Send him now. Far out in space, Bionic Bunny raced toward the comet. He could still hear the words of the president ringing in his ears, how it was up to him to save the world once again. At the great speed he was traveling, he came up to the comet quickly. It was just beyond the last traces of Earth's atmosphere. The view even made him pause. The comet was huge, massive. The Bionic Bunny felt like a big bug facing the biggest windshield in the universe. Still, he did not hesitate. The whole world was depending on him, and he was not about to let everyone down. It's now or never, he said. Clenching his fist, he flew up to the comet and tried to break it into smaller pieces, but the comet was so cold, so frozen, that it withstood his mighty blows. Bionic Bunny then tried to push against the comet, trying to change the direction. The comet stayed on course. Can't give up yet, he groaned, but the comet paid no attention. Too much forward movement. But I'm not done with this overgrown snowball yet. He flew around to the back of the comet, grabbed the comet's tail, and pulled. Yes, it's slowing down. Then the International Space Station passed by, and one of its solar panels got snagged on Bionic Bunny's cape. It yanked him away and allowed the comet to resume its plunge toward Earth. No, he cried, but out in space, no one could hear him. Chapter 7. At school the next morning, some of the students arrived on their bikes. As always, they parked them in the racks, took off their helmets, and went inside. When Buster got to school, he was wearing his bike helmet too, but he didn't head for the racks because he didn't need to. He wasn't riding his bike. A few kids on the playground stared at him as he passed by. What's up, Buster? Not feeling so safe today? Urged to Bust. Come in, Buster. None of these comments drew any replies. In fact, it wasn't clear that Buster even heard them. He was too tired from remembering each and every moment of his dream. He had awakened after Bionic Bunny had been pulled away from the comet. So he had not seen what had happened next, but he could imagine. And if he had slept again afterward, he hadn't slept well. Inside Mr. Rappan's classroom, Buster stumbled to his seat and sat down. Psst, Buster. Buster looked up. Arthur seemed to be speaking to him, but why was he whispering? Your bike helmet. Buster frowned. What about it? It's still on. Oh? Buster took off his helmet. Are you all right? You look kind of funny. Buster grabbed Arthur's sleeve. Don't panic, Arthur, but a comet is coming. Coming? Coming where? Here, planet Earth. There's going to be a big explosion, another ice age. Lots of stuff will be wiped out. Pass it on. Arthur tried to keep his mouth from dropping open too far. Okay, he said. At recess, Arthur walked up to Fawn. Did you hear the news about the comet? Yup. She looked in her notebook and keeping track of all the facts. Strange headgears in the classroom, a belief that the sky is falling. I hate to say this, Arthur, but Mrs. Marbles would conclude that Buster has finally lost his cookies. He's definitely upset, that's for sure. Arthur looked around. Oh, I don't think he's done yet. Buster had climbed to the top of the monkey bars and was calling for everyone's attention. Listen up, people. A comet is coming. It'll destroy a lot. Maybe even us. We need a plan and fast. For a moment, the students looked at Buster without moving. Then the moment passed and they all went back to whatever they were doing before. Didn't you hear what I said? The kids went on playing. Hey, this is serious. Yeah, comet is coming, said one kid. I can't wait to tell the tooth fairy. Everyone laughed. Buster looked shocked, wounded. Nobody was listening to him. It wouldn't be long before they would have to listen because the comet would be darkening the sky. But by then, it would be too late. Chapter 8. Well, I tried. Buster said this as he sat at the counter of the ice cream shop, drinking a double-dick chocolate shake. Tough day? Asked the brain's mother, who was working behind the counter. Buster sighed. I'll say, you'd think people would pay attention when you were telling them about a comet hitting the Earth? You'd think they would care? I think Binky was listening, said the brain, who was sweeping the floor behind him. He often helped his mother out by working in her shop after school. Buster snorted. Sort of. He just said he wasn't going to work on any long-term homework project if he didn't have to. I'm not sure that counts. Well, said the brain, things might have gone better if you had taken off your bike helmet. When someone talks about the end of the world while wearing a bike helmet, people don't always pay attention. Hey, I wasn't wearing it for protection, Buster explained. I was trying to make a point. And did you? Well, no, but I would have if everyone hadn't been shouting Chicken Little at me. The brain nodded. I admit that didn't help. Clearly, you need to adopt a different approach. Maybe you're right, said Buster. You're still wearing it, said the brain. Wearing what? Your bike helmet? Oh, Buster undid the strap and took the helmet off. That's a good start, said the brain. Buster didn't look so sure. I don't know. Maybe I'm not the right person for the job. Maybe this news should be coming from someone else. Like who? Someone the kids respect. Sounds good. Someone they know would be telling the truth. That sounds good too. Someone like you. Buster suddenly smiled. Me? The brain looked horrified. Why me? You'd be perfect. Everyone knows you're smart and serious. They'll believe you for sure because you sound so sciencey. The brain snorted. That's because I back up what I say with facts. Unlike some people, and sciencey isn't a word anyway. Exactly. See, you picked right up on that. Yes, well, you may have figured out why everyone will believe me, but you still have a problem. What is that? Brain folded his arms. How are you going to get me to believe you? Why should I go around telling people a comet is coming? Buster began fishing in his big backpack. Because I proof. Look, he took the picture of the comet and handed it to the brain. The brain took a good look. Well, it does appear to be a comet, but that's not enough. There are dates to confirm and trajectories to check. I'll have to sift through all your data. No problem. It's in the treehouse. He paid for his milkshake, grabbed his helmet, and dragged the brain toward the door. Come on, he said. We've only got 35.5 days left. Chapter 9. That evening, Arthur, Murphy, Francine, Fawn, and Binky were all standing at the base of the clubhouse tree. They were looking at Buster, who was pacing the ground before them. Do you realize I had to cancel a hairstyling to be here? Said Murphy. Don't worry, said Buster. Your hair will still be around tomorrow. Well, Fawn and I were supposed to go shopping. There's a sale on magnifying glasses and fingerprint pads. I was going to stock up. We all had plans, Buster. Yeah, said Binky. I was supposed to be cleaning my room. I get this isn't so bad. Keep talking, Buster. As I was saying, you're here because I asked you to come, and also because the brain asked. Francine reminded him, but neither of you would say why. Hey, this doesn't have anything to do with that crazy Comet talk, does it? At least you took off that helmet, said Muffy. Talk about a fashion mistake. Arthur shivered. Buster, are you sure this couldn't have waited until tomorrow? It's cold out here. Buster glanced up at the treehouse. Just be patient. This is important, you see. Can't you give us a clue? Asked Fun. I'm very good with clues. Maybe he won't, said the brain, climbing down the ladder. But I will. You're right, Francine. This does have to do with the comment. Francine frowned. I knew it. I knew we were wasting our time, Brain sighed. I only wish that were true. Everyone suddenly got quiet. What do you mean? Arthur asked. If we are not wasting our time, began Murphy, that means... Exactly. I have checked all of Buster's findings and examined the 3 photographs he took, and according to my calculations, he is right. There really is a comet heading toward Earth. It was hard to say who screamed first or who was screaming the loudest, because everyone was screaming. They pointed at the sky, the ground, and so on. Only Buster stood calmly. There, he said. Now do you believe me? Comet, 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 yelled Fun, who had started to pace. Suddenly she stepped on something. Ow. She bent down and picked up the metal knob that had accidentally fallen through the treehouse doorway days earlier. Could this be a clue? She looked up at the treehouse opening above her. Mrs. Marbles would say, the obvious possibility is almost always the first one checked. So everyone else argued about what to do. Fun quietly climbed the treehouse ladder. There was a mystery here somewhere, and she was determined to solve it. Chapter 10. In the Sugar Bowl, the next day, D.W. and Arthur sat in a booth facing Fun. And then asked D.W., taking a bite out of a muffin. And then said Muffin, using my little gray brain cell. She tapped her head. I determined that the curious metal knob was actually an important part of the telescope, and without it, Buzz and Brain were getting all the wrong readings. So I quickly climbed up the tree and we fixed the telescope and discovered the comet wasn't going to hit Earth after all. The end. I like the story better when the Fun tells it. Tell it again, and don't rush the part where Arthur runs around like a chicken. No more. At that moment, Buster and the Brain entered. Here it is, cried Buster, holding up a newspaper for the headline. Cat Saber discovers comet. That's fine for you, Buster, said the Brain, holding a newspaper of his own, but they spelled my name wrong. They call me the Brain. It makes me sound like a breakfast cereal. It turns out that I'm not the only amateur to discover something in space. A girl named Heather McCarty discovered a planetoid with her friends. It's still pretty amazing that you discovered a comet, Buster, said Arthur. Hardly any ordinary people have ever done that before. I guess I just wish it was going to come back sooner. Once it passes by, we won't see it again for another 3 years. The Brain put down his newspaper. Well, who knows? Maybe they will have discovered the alien life forms by then. Buster gaped at him. You mean you're not a believer? You're not a believer? Not exactly, but what? Well, I made an important discovery. What is that? If there is intelligent life up here, he said, pointing to Buster's head, then clearly it could be anywhere. The end.